Why do German U-boats dare to claim absolute dominance over the Atlantic Ocean? In just 4 short years, they sink over 3,500 merchant ships and warships. They send 14.5 million tons of cargo to the bottom of the sea with the help of torpedoes, inflicting indelible losses on the Allied forces of World War II. But the most terrifying aspect remains the U-boat's wolfpack tactic. They operate like an encrypted fishing net, becoming the most powerful sweeping firepower against the Allies within a 480-kilometer range of the Black Pit, and causing 72,200 lives to perish in the ocean. Back then, the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union even issue strict orders. If anyone encounters a U-boat at sea, they must absolutely not fire back, and must immediately turn around to flee, because the outcome of such a battle is a guaranteed defeat. So, are the German U-boats truly invincible? To counter the German U-boats, spanning from initial concepts to effective suppression, dozens of countries spend a full 50 years and exhaust countless funds to create an epoch-making warship that accelerates the downfall of Nazi Germany in World War II. What kind of warship is this exactly? What astonishing capabilities does it possess? How does it defeat the U-boat, the tyrant of the sea, while shattering the German wolfpack tactic known as the Grim Reaper? Today, I deeply analyze this classic naval warfare film, Greyhound, from multiple dimensions, such as military weaponry and tactical psychology, taking everyone to explore the thrilling and mystery-shrouded truth behind that era.
All down, smoke for control! Target is there! Second shot spotted! Lined up, sir!
In February 1942, in the North Atlantic, 37 merchant ships loaded with 500,000 tons of cargo are escorted by 4 destroyers. Their goal is to deliver the goods safely to the British, but the prerequisite is that the merchant ships must cross the most dangerous waters on Earth. This sea area suffers from treacherous weather, often engulfed by storms, dense fog, and endless dark nights with extremely low visibility, which is why this ocean is also dubbed the Black Pit. But what is even more lethal than all of this is that this area exceeds the operational range of Allied warplanes, a loophole that the German U-boats seize upon to frequently attack passing merchant ships, creating a massive obstacle to the victory of World War II. At this moment, the natural enemy of submarines emerges, the destroyer. And this is the new type of vessel that various countries spend endless funds and strain their wits to develop specifically to counter submarines. Among these 4 destroyers, the leader is the Greyhound, known in reality as the Keeling. It packs 5 5-inch 38 caliber Mk-12 dual-purpose long-range anti-aircraft guns, 8 40mm Bofors short-range anti-aircraft guns, and depth charges specifically designed to assault submarines, making it the backbone of the escort convoy. Commanding this fleet is U.S. Navy Commander Ernest Krause. This is his very first time serving as a commander for a North Atlantic escort mission. He has rich combat experience and rock-solid psychological resilience, yet he still feels immense pressure. This is not because he fears the German U-boats, but because most of the crew members under his command are raw recruits. In naval warfare, especially when facing the most terrifying German submarines in the world at the time, which haunt the sea like ghosts, appearing and disappearing unpredictably, one must control every single detail to a precision finer than a strand of hair, as the slightest carelessness can lead to total annihilation. Next, Harry and Eagle in the escort convoy drift 6 nautical miles away from the fleet, slipping out of command range. Sailing on the vast ocean inevitably brings encounters with severe weather, at which point communication gets disrupted. Therefore, people invent a way to communicate without using radio, which is light signals. The transmission of light effectively evades the impact that weather might bring, allowing them to pass signals to each other simply and directly. The fleet's general headquarters sends a message stating that they intercept an encrypted German communication. At a bearing of 87 degrees, 15 to 20 nautical miles away from the merchant convoy, which is about 27 to 37 kilometers on land, a German U-boat is lurking. U-boats are incredibly crafty, hiding in the ocean and being exceptionally skilled at concealing themselves. At this time, instead of waiting for a U-boat attack, it is much better to take the initiative and strike first. Krause immediately orders the destroyer to cruise at its maximum speed of 36 knots, advancing toward the area where the U-boat is likely hiding. The high speed and anti-stealth characteristics of the destroyer are precisely designed to hunt submarines. Next, Krause relays the submarine news to the other escort ships via radio, and then immediately orders the entire crew to enter a state of high alert, ready for an offensive at any moment. Finding the enemy's tracks is no easy feat, so the fleet must rely on mutual cooperation, constantly scanning the transit area with radar. The so-called radar utilizes radio waves in the air to work, known as the eye of the sky, specifically detecting targets above the water surface. The detection range is highly correlated with the height of the radar antenna, and Greyhound's detection range sits around 20 to 30 nautical miles. Next, the Combat Information Center detects the submarine's position. They use mathematical formulas to calculate its specific bearing and distance, reporting to the captain that they spot a U-boat at bearing 092, 5 nautical miles away, surfacing to vent and breathe. Having spotted the submarine, Krause immediately orders the destroyer to advance toward the submarine's vicinity. A visible enemy is not scary, but an invisible enemy is what truly terrifies people. The reason why Germany can challenge the entire world single-handedly in World War II definitely lies in its extraordinary capabilities. At that time, Germany possesses the most advanced submarine technology in the world, particularly with the U-boats. Its massive hull can reach a speed of 18 knots on the surface and 7 knots underwater. Its low-profile water silhouette makes it difficult to detect even when it surfaces, and a single torpedo can sink a giant vessel of tens of thousands of tons to the bottom of the ocean. Before Allied radar technology matures, U-boats are invincible entities at sea. Sure enough, before long, the signal on the destroyer's radar vanishes. The Germans sense danger and rapidly submerge underwater. This is the blind spot of radar. Since electromagnetic waves cannot penetrate seawater, once a submarine dives, its position can no longer be captured. This is also the drawback of radar. Moving forward, they can only rely on two things. First, the personnel in the intelligence center manually calculate the submarine's bearing, distance, and route. Second, they must utilize the sonar system once they reach the target distance. Sonar is a detection technology similar to radar, whose working principle relies on the propagation characteristics of sound waves in water. It actively emits sound wave pulses and receives echoes to pick up underwater sounds, then relies on human hearing to judge whether the sound wave belongs to an enemy submarine. The sonar range drops to 1 nautical mile, which is an extremely close distance that feels almost right before their eyes. Krause immediately returns to the deck to observe the sea surface. The moments before an enemy arrives are always abnormally calm. The sea surface shows absolutely no ripples stirred up by a submarine, aside from the wind and waves. However, the sonar shows fluctuations appearing again at bearing 006. The distance closes in to 1 kilometer, which instantly cranks the tense atmosphere to the absolute maximum. The bearing then shifts to 01. These chaotic and confusing coordinates are precisely the tricks intentionally played by the enemy to disrupt their rhythm. Yet, the composed Krause has already seen through everything. The enemy is cunning, but they cannot escape Krause's precise calculations. From start to finish, the bearing keeps shifting to the left, standing at 012 at 900 meters and 006 at 800 meters. But right at this moment, Krause issues an order that leaves all the soldiers utterly baffled. Are you very confused right now as to why he orders a turn to the right when the sonar target is to the left? Ordinary people will definitely think this is a mistaken decision, but this is exactly what demonstrates a captain's professionalism. First, their mission is not hunting, but protecting. The destroyer's sonar detection works best in the direction of the bow, because the massive noise and wake noise generated by its own propellers will cause the sonar to go blind. Second, the enemy's mission is also not to fight the destroyer, but to destroy the merchant ships and cut off Britain's supply lines. One must know both oneself and the enemy to comprehend the logic behind this. Deeply aware of this loophole in the sonar blind spot, if the U-boat loops around to the rear of the destroyer, then both they and the merchant ships will be left with no place to bury their dead. Third, an invisible enemy is the greatest hidden danger. The sonar reports an enemy on the left, so as long as they maintain their speed, the sonar can continue to detect the submarine on the left. But as a captain, one must assume that an enemy might also exist to my right, to my front, and to my rear. While ensuring they will not be flanked by the submarine on the left, Krause gives the order to turn right. Later on, this decision becomes one of the most core and classic tactical maneuvers in escort anti-submarine warfare. Sure enough, seeing that Krause does not fall for the trap, the enemy chooses to force their way through. Submarine activity appears at bearing 024, 730 meters away. The enemy wants to bypass the destroyer to get closer to the merchant ships, but the speed of the destroyer is far higher than that of the submarine, which is the primary reason why destroyers are called submarine killers. Next, a massive battle is on the verge of breaking out. As the bombardment ends, Krause steps out of the cabin to observe. A large amount of oil slicks and debris appears on the sea surface, indicating that the enemy submarine has been destroyed. For Krause, who is commanding the fleet for the first time, as well as for the numerous raw recruits on board, this is undoubtedly a tremendous boost to morale. Having sunk a U-boat, the soldiers cheer and shout wildly, which is indeed worth celebrating. However, as the captain, Krause never lowers his guard for a single second. He immediately assigns tasks and informs the other warships that the current danger is resolved. Then he visits the sonar room to thank the sonar operator in a warm tone. Why can Krause become the commander of the fleet? He does not grow arrogant due to victory, nor does he attribute the battle results entirely to himself, but instead clearly knows that all success stems from everyone's joint efforts. This is the quality that a professional and responsible commander ought to have. But the danger is far from over. The forward lookouts spot 2 distress flares fired by the convoy, causing Krause to immediately order a turnaround and step back into his command post. A Greek merchant ship billows with thick smoke, proving that there is more than one U-boat beneath the waves, and they have very likely run into the German wolf pack. The so-called wolf pack is a combined operations tactic involving multiple German submarines in World War II, and it stands as the most invincible naval warfare technique in the world at that time. They never deploy alone, deploying extremely devious means to lure the enemy deep before executing precision strikes with torpedoes to achieve their goal of total elimination. Under normal circumstances, a wolf pack consists of at least 3 submarines. They will first dispatch a single submarine to patrol ahead and search for Allied merchant ships and warships. Once spotted, individual action is strictly forbidden, and it must conceal itself while notifying the lead wolf and other submarines to gather, ultimately fulfilling their tactical objective. Clearly, the vessel Krause and his men just sank was merely one of the enemy's scout submarines. From this, it is evident that an even more treacherous enemy lies ahead. Immediately afterward, a U-boat beneath the waves fires a torpedo, bearing down directly upon Krause's fleet. He immediately orders hard rudder, causing the destroyer to lean heavily into a sharp list. Ultimately, the destroyer brushes past the torpedo, narrowly escaping disaster. Right after that, he issues orders once more to lock onto the enemy's position, advancing at maximum speed toward the sunken merchant vessel. En route, they receive a transmission from Harry stating that 2 U-boats have been spotted directly ahead of the convoy. The British destroyer Eagle also detects a submarine on the port side, while Dickey reports an enemy at bearing 098, 14 nautical miles away. Currently, a total of 6 submarines have been observed, confirming beyond a doubt that they have run straight into a German wolf pack. The enemy's operational radius practically encircles most of the convoy's transit route, making a life-or-death struggle completely unavoidable. Immediately following this, a U-boat surfaces to vent, and upon seeing this, Greyhound attacks instantly, but misses because the target is too small. There is a strange detail here. Despite the German wolf pack surrounding the merchant ships and occupying a highly advantageous position, they hold back and do not launch an immediate attack. This is precisely what makes the wolf pack so terrifying. They refrain from attacking because they are waiting for the most ideal tactical window, which is the fall of night. By that time, darkness will wrap around everything, severely obstructing the Allies' vision, while the submarines conceal themselves beneath the waves, using the cover of night to haunt the waters like ghosts, ready to appear or vanish at any second. Soon, the clock strikes 8 p.m. With 36 hours still remaining until they reach air cover, the wolf pack instantly springs into action. A submarine signature is detected at bearing 046, 3 nautical miles away. Krause immediately orders all hands to battle stations and grants permission for all batteries to fire at will. Sure enough, a submarine breaches the surface at this exact moment. The warship and a merchant vessel almost collide head-on. This is the wolf pack's trap. They lure Greyhound into firing at them, but in reality, they use the pitch-black night to disrupt Greyhound's movements, causing the merchant ship and Greyhound to tear into each other. This precise strategy of manipulation is played to perfection by the Germans. Crucially, after pulling off this trick, the U-boat does not stick around to tangle with them, choosing instead to submerge instantly to seek out a new tactical position, acting exactly like a professional sniper of the deep ocean. Following this, Krause immediately orders a pursuit at 2/3 speed. Yet, the Germans' craftiest tricks are still to come.
He's diving! U-boat diving! Bearing 040! Range, close aboard!
Mr. Lopez?
Aye, sir.
Stand by for shallow pattern.
Stand by for shallow pattern. Aye, aye, sir.
Sonar sweep for contact to starboard beam.
Bridge, sweep for contact to starboard beam.
Bridge, sonar, there's too many screws, I can't hear anything.
Sonar reports mixed signal, sir. Too many propellers.
On my command, Mr. Lopez?
Aye, sir.
Still too many screws.
Interference from the convoy. Sonar reports too many screws, sir. Interference from the convoy.
The reason why the Wolfpack tactic inspires such deep dread, aside from its deep-sea concealment and extreme lethality, is its exceptional capacity for deception. This eggshell-like cylinder is named Bold, a bubble screen decoy deployed by the Germans, which operates on the principle of using chemical agents like sodium cyanide to generate a massive cloud of bubbles upon contact with seawater, creating a powerful acoustic reflector that throws the sonar listening systems into complete chaos, inducing enemy misjudgments to seize the battlefield initiative. This new form of cloaking proves highly effective, as Greyhound's sonar operator fails to see through it initially and reports the false detected bearing. Consequently, the captain orders another round of attacks.
Next pattern, Mr. Lopez. Again, sir? Yes, again, Mr. Lopez.
All positions fired ready. All positions fire, fire.
Al, meter, head up the lane.
Peter, heading up the lane. Aye, aye, sir.
The sonar reports contact bearing correction. Correction. Sonar reports
screw noises.
questionable screw noises.
Contact stationary.
Sonar reports contact stationary.
Stationary?
Sonar
Bridge, anything further?
Still stationary, possible decoy.
Sonar reports contact is not moving.
Sure enough, after a barrage of strikes that drains a significant amount of ammunition, they hit absolutely nothing. Only then do they realize that this is a Wolfpack decoy. Moments later, flames skyrocket into the horizon ahead. A freighter fully laden with oil has been struck by a submarine's torpedo. A massive number of casualties drift upon the sea surface. Simultaneously, a submarine trace is discovered near the destroyed oil tanker, prompting a request for assistance from Greyhound. Ultimately, Krause still chooses to rescue the wounded survivors in the water first. Upon completing the rescue of the wounded, Krause hastily orders the ship to turn about. At this moment, the night sky behind them is illuminated once more by distress flares. An American supply ship has been struck by a torpedo. This signifies that the enemy has taken out their ammunition depot. The ammunition remaining on board right now is their absolute last bit of firepower. Everyone falls into a heavy silence. Losing their ammunition means losing any capability to strike back. In this dark pit, teeming with submarines, losing their supplies transforms them into lambs waiting for the slaughter. But things get even worse than this. Greyhound's communication channel is intercepted by Grey Wolf, which broadcasts a taunting, threatening message over the radio.
Greyhound, this is Grey Wolf. We hunt you and your friends Eagle, Dickie, and Harry. We watch your ship sinking into the deep. We hear the screams of your comrades as they die. Your women will...
Greyhound to all escorts. Switch TBS traffic to channel Zebra. Execute.
The enemy intends not only to assault the merchant ships and cut off supplies, but also to shatter the fleet's psychological defense line, thoroughly crushing the Allies from physical onslaughts to psychological warfare. While this might break ordinary soldiers, for Krause, it only intensifies his burning thirst for vengeance. Subsequently, the fleet detects a submarine ahead, and Krause orders a counterattack. Gunfire and death instantaneously saturate this stretch of the sea, while consecutive distress signals and detonating merchant ships appear exceptionally eerie under the auroras glowing above the clouds. The time reaches 8 a.m., leaving 26 hours until air cover arrives. Following a night of brutal combat, the Allies suffer catastrophic losses. 5 merchant ships have been sunk, and 210 men have perished in battle. But what is even more critical is that Greyhound's ammunition is nearly exhausted from last night's engagement, leaving only 6 fully deployable depth charges. Therefore, Krause makes a high-stakes, perilous decision. He prepares to charge toward air cover at maximum speed, refusing to engage in any more evasive maneuvers or tactical detours, while instructing the Combat Information Center to calculate a direct transit route. This undoubtedly turns the warships and merchant ships into sitting ducks for the enemy to target. One must realize that the maximum speed of a merchant vessel is only 8 to 10 knots, whereas a U-boat can hit 18 knots on the surface, which is practically double the speed of the merchant ships. Once encircled by the wolf pack, the entire fleet will face absolute annihilation. Why would he take such a gamble? My analysis points to 2 primary reasons. First, the Allies' ammunition supply ship has already been destroyed, meaning even if they use tactical maneuvers to protect the convoy's advance, running out of ammunition will ultimately leave them as sitting ducks anyway, forced to wait for death helplessly. Second, if they stop playing cat and mouse with the enemy and instead sprint directly toward the perimeter covered by air power, it will to some extent disrupt the enemy's calculations, leading them to believe the Allies have completely run out of options. The submarines will then breach the surface to pursue the merchant ships at maximum speed, which eliminates the time the Allies would otherwise spend on evasive maneuvers and hunting for submerged targets, simultaneously preventing the waste of depth charges, allowing for highly precise deployment, and maximizing the probability of concentrated hits. This is a dangerous gamble, yet it represents the ultimate opportunity for everyone to survive against all odds and stage a desperate final stand. The execution of tactics generally hinges on command and decision-making, requiring professional expertise and decisive resolve in the face of imminent peril. Controlling the split-second windows of engagement demands precise manipulation and execution, calculated down to the exact second by everyone on board, including the captain. Evidently, Krause's battlefield analysis is fully vindicated. The German submarines surface to give chase, only to be ambushed by Greyhound and Dickey and sent to the bottom by heavy firepower. However, because of this, Dickey takes a hit, taking on water inside the hull and temporarily losing combat readiness. Greyhound also loses one of its anti-aircraft gun stations. The raw power of the destroyers teaches the Wolfpack a severe lesson. They never anticipated that the U-boats, once the undisputed tyrants of the ocean, would pay such a staggering price in a mere 24 hours. Furthermore, as the merchant convoy draws closer to the operational radius of the warplanes, the U-boats have fulfilled a mere tenth of their objective. Seeing that they are about to lose their optimal window to assault the merchant ships, a desperate Wolfpack prepares to launch an all-out, comprehensive assault on the fleet. Moments later, a distress flare shoots into the sky from the rear of the fleet. The Wolfpack launches another torpedo strike, hitting an American rescue vessel. The clock strikes midnight once more, and the Grim Reaper's talons drape over the black pit again. The British destroyer Eagle is struck in the hull, listing heavily at 15 degrees, completely beyond saving, forcing the crew to abandon ship to survive. From the very beginning until now, a grueling 48 hours have elapsed. During this entire stretch, Captain Krause has not eaten a single meal, and his feet bleed heavily from the friction. Yet he knows this is no time to slacken, as the entire convoy
Center up with torpedo starboard beam bearing 187 range 1500.
Left full rudder.
Left full rudder.
Torpedo to starboard beam! Bearing 120, range 1000!
Right hard rudder, hard over.
Right harder.
Meet her.
Belay, meet her, meet her.
Aye, sir. Holding course.
and the 300 crew members of Greyhound depend entirely on him to make it back alive. Shortly after, Greyhound detects 2 surface targets off the starboard side, throwing the entire crew back into high alert. A U-boat breaches the surface and fires a torpedo targeted directly at Greyhound. Krause issues flawless commands. First, hard a port, immediately followed by hard a starboard, allowing Greyhound to miraculously evade the detonation of 2 torpedoes. Immediately following this, Greyhound swings its hull around, charging directly at the submarine ahead at maximum cruising speed, fully prepared to destroy the enemy even if it means ramming them into submission. Finally, at the absolute last second, Greyhound scores a direct hit on the U-boat, marking the 3rd Grey Wolf submarine they have completely destroyed. But instantly, right after neutralizing the 3rd submarine, yet another sub materializes. Clearly, the enemy has been pushed to their absolute wit's end, unleashing their final act of retaliation. Due to the previous engagement, Greyhound cannot swing its hull around quickly enough, leaving it on the verge of being sent to the bottom by the submarine. But right at this critical juncture, the convoy successfully reaches the protection perimeter of the Allied warplanes. An aerial warplane transmits a signal, and Greyhound immediately opens fire in the direction of the submarine, marking the target's position for the aircraft. Just like that, Krause and his entire crew wipe out yet another Grey Wolf submarine. At this precise moment, their escort mission effectively concludes. The entire convoy has arrived safely within the protective umbrella of the warplanes. The crew members, having stared death in the face, erupt into wild cheers of victory, directed primarily in profound gratitude toward Greyhound. Watching the celebrating crowds, Krause can finally shed the crushing weight of his burdens. Executing his very first escort mission, he might not have been a perfect captain, nor could he protect everyone from harm. Yet, after enduring days and nights of sustained psychological pressure, Krause and every single crew member poured every ounce of effort into doing the absolute most they could achieve. Finally, Captain Krause takes off his shoes, removes his necktie, and washes his exhausted face before walking over to his bunk, using his trembling hands to pick up the Bible resting nearby to offer a final prayer for every soul sacrificed in this brutal conflict. He then lies down on his bed, curling his body tight, and drifts into a profound, heavy sleep. With this, the ultimate showdown between the Black Pit and the Grim Reaper draws to a successful close. Throughout this engagement, the Allies lost 3 merchant vessels and 2 escort ships, yet over 91% of the vital supplies were successfully delivered to their destination. In the strictest sense, this stands as an exceptionally successful escort operation. Though the mission has concluded, the Battle of the Black Pit continues to reshape itself within our minds. Greyhound delivers an incredibly profound and realistic raw depiction of the true nature of warfare. This is far more than a mere battle. It signifies that starting from 1942, war transitioned away from a physical clash between men into a cold, calculating duel driven by data and algorithms. Krause's meticulous commands on the bridge, the sonar operator's monotonous tracking reports, the radar officer's urgent bearing notifications, and the navigator's calm calculations of their heading. These seemingly sterile technical exchanges are, in reality, the defining moves in a high-stakes chess match of life and death. The film's most symbolic sequence is undoubtedly the night battle. As the U-boat emerges like a phantom from the abyss, the green luminescence of the radar screen becomes the solitary source of light in the pitch black, and Krause issues absolute directives through his headset as the deck guns roar in defiance. Throughout the entire sequence, he cannot see the enemy, nor can he glimpse the ocean. He makes life or death determinations based solely on the shifting data blinking on a screen. This detached form of execution over immense distances highlights both the pinnacle of human rational achievement and the deepest, most absurd paradox of our existence. Humanity invents weapons only to turn around and systematically eliminate itself with them. Furthermore, the film's designation of the North Atlantic Gap as the Black Pit is not merely a geographical designation, but a powerful philosophical metaphor. This specific stretch of ocean, entirely out of reach for Allied aircraft, symbolizes the absolute boundary of civilized order. Out here, every rule and safeguard completely disintegrates, leaving nothing but the most primal struggle for survival. The director's realization of this space is a masterstroke. Between the deep gray sea and the sky, the merchant convoy resembles a floating civilization on the move, while the escort fleet acts as its defensive walls. Every time a submarine punctures the line, it plays out like a successful raid by savagery against civilization. And the conclusion of Greyhound remains exceptionally restrained. In the face of his men's ecstatic, triumphant shouts, Krause sheds his exhausting mantle and falls peacefully asleep. This sequence perfectly articulates the ultimate reality of warfare. Victory is never a glorious, celebrated triumph, but rather a grueling continuation of the primal instinct to survive. The film ultimately leaves us with a heavy, haunting question. When the veneer of civilization is so effortlessly torn away by the raging waves of the Atlantic, how should we perceive those night's watchmen who silently guard the dark, along with the countless souls drifting endlessly upon the ocean? How do we position ourselves within the fragile balance between order and total chaos? In an era where our technological myths continue to fracture daily, Greyhound serves as a stark reminder. Civilization is never an inherent, guaranteed gift, but rather a fragile, enduring light ignited at the edge of chaos by silent protectors, using their intellect, their unwavering duty, and their very flesh and blood. All right, that is all for today, and I will see you all in the next episode.